When I first arrived at the dormitory, the thing that caught my attention the most was the fourth floor. The building had 5 floors, but the button for the fourth floor had been removed from the elevator. The door between the staircases was chained, and an old worn-out sign that said, "Do not enter," was hanging on it. The manager would brush it off by saying, "There's renovation." But it was strange because sometimes not fine dust, but light leaked from under the door. At first, nothing happened. New room, new friendships, the rush of classes, worries, laughter in the corridor at night. Everything was normal. Until one night when I suddenly woke up at 2:46. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't understand for a moment why I had woken up. But then I heard it, the sound of something being moved from upstairs, as someone was pushing a large piece of furniture like a wardrobe or bed across the floor. The sound stopped, and I told myself I must have heard it wrong. But then it started again. We were on the 3rd floor, which meant above us was the 4th floor that was always closed. In the morning at breakfast, I told my friends, and everyone at the table fell silent for a moment. The atmosphere had become tense. Even the sound of forks stopped. Then someone said in a laughing tone, "The air conditioning pipes must be expanding." But his voice was trembling. He was clearly trying not to show it. After that day, I started looking at the clock involuntarily after 2:40 at night. On the second night, exactly at 2:46, the sound started again. This time it wasn't dragging. It was as if someone was taking steps, slow and regular, as if someone was walking in the corridor. But above us, I couldn't stand it, so I got up, opened the door, and looked into the stairwell. The lights were off, but when I looked up, a yellow flickering light was coming from under the 4th floor door. At that moment, an indescribable feeling formed inside me. More than fear, it felt like someone was watching me. Just as I was about to return to the room, a clear female voice came from upstairs. "Don't stand at the door." The voice was neither a whisper nor a scream. It was a normal speaking tone. Whoever was there was not afraid of anyone. At that moment, there was no one there but me. On the 3rd night, I barely managed to convince my roommate. We hid in a corner together and waited. When it was 2:46, the light turned on again. This time there were more footsteps. They were crowded, as if several people were walking at the same time. But there was no talking among them. We slowly and quietly climbed the stairs and stopped in front of the chain door. Shadows were passing inside. The reflections under the door showed that not one, but several people were moving. My roommate listened at the door and suddenly pulled back. His face was pale white. "There's a crowd inside," he said. But the strange thing was this. There was no talking, no murmuring, only the sound of deep breaths being taken and released at the same time, as if dozens of people were standing right behind the door, listening to us. They were slowly opening the door handle. The chain tightened. The sound of metal echoed in the stairwell. At that moment, we ran. The next day, we told the manager. The expression on his face changed. He didn't answer for a long time. Then he said that the 4th floor had been closed for 3 years. The official explanation was a student's suicide. Nothing else was said. "The electricity is completely cut off," he said especially. That night, curiosity outweighed fear. I waited alone for 2:46. When I went to the stairs, the light was coming again, but this time the door was not chained. I pushed it slowly. The door opened. Inside looked dusty and empty. Old bunk beds, broken cabinets, marks on the walls where sockets had been removed. But in the very middle, there was a single chair, and on it stood a phone. Its screen was on. There was a live camera broadcast, and the image showed the third floor corridor. I could make out the door of my own room. Then someone appeared in the image. Me. Me walking toward the stairs. Yet at that moment, I was on the fourth floor. The me in the phone's camera lifted his head and looked directly at the camera. My facial expression was blank. My eyes were empty. Then the me in the image slowly smiled. At that exact moment, I heard a breath very close behind me. It was cold and heavy. A whisper echoed right next to my ear. "We took your place." By reflex, I turned around, but there was no one behind me. The phone fell to the ground, the screen cracked, and the image went dark. When morning came, the fourth floor door was chained again. The number 4 in the elevator was still taped over, but on the faded paper above the door, there were now 2 names written. One was the name of the girl who had jumped 3 years ago. The other was mine. The strangest thing is this. That morning, my roommate said to me, "You didn't go out at all last night. You slept straight through." At that moment, I understood. When it was 2:46, whatever was walking upstairs might not have been calling anyone. It was simply choosing someone from below